the Geek Protagonist. This is number 3 for that fan versus comic book creator thing. So we're gonna just jump right into these last few and gonna have a quick discussion. So Dan Slott, uh, Fantastic Four writer, wrote Superior Spider-Man, which I thought was great, uh, and it was a great idea. I know some people didn't like it, but I thought it was awesome. Sorry. Um, I thought it was a great idea to have Otto Octavius. I love when they did the thing with Lex Luthor and made him a superhero. I like those criminals who aren't 100% bad if they see what they're like when they go the other way. And I think for Otto Octavius, it actually really works because his crimes have never been like so destructive. They're usually just self indulgent for him to have a legacy. So uh, I do want Otto to stay good, and it's interesting to see his struggle. He did Tony Stark Iron Man. I thought that was good. The Mighty Avengers, which I really liked, especially the character usage. He did Batman Avengers, etc. But I digress. So Dan Slott put as his quote, "F you if you vote for Donald Trump." This part I don't think was as bad. This is more like his observation kind of thing from his own experience, and that's whatever. But then he goes, "This administration is not on top of this emergency. They're ignoring or contradicting their own experts. People are dying." Now, then, here is when I have um, an issue when he pointed this because, okay, so basically, the reason why I have an issue is because Mike Pence was appointed. I'm not saying they're doing everything perfect, but at the time when he said it, there was stuff that they were doing, and it's more than just the Trump administration. A lot of the upper government in that area was kind of dropping the ball. Not just, with him, not the states governments, just the federal was kind of there. But I do agree because they did wait, they didn't take up stuff, they didn't do that. And now recently, Trump is trying to blame the WHO, and I'm like, that was you, bro. So yeah, but at the time he was saying it, he was making it seem like they didn't do anything. Um, Now he put on here and he's golfing at his resort again and profiting off of it. I'm not saying F you for voting for him. I'm saying F you if you vote for him again. My problem with this statement is you shouldn't be upset when people don't vote the way you like them to, or because they may see it differently than you and they may have their reasons. Well, maybe not upset for long. Like sometimes, initial of the person you wanted to win didn't win. Okay. And yes, Donald Trump does take a lot of vacations. I will also, just so you know, I'm pointing it, trying to be fair. I will also point out that Trump did call out Barack Obama multiple times for taking pretty much any type of vacation. And now, Mr. 45th did tweet. This is a real tweet from the Orange Man. Take vacations. What's the point, Barack? If you're not enjoying your work, you're in the wrong job. Think like a billionaire. Now, since then, number one, he has vacationed more than Barack did. This is a fact. Also, two, if you thinking like a billionaire, first off, you've look how many companies you did. Trump Steaks, Trump University. Most of your businesses go bankrupt. You do a lot of bankruptcies, and you got people, oh, you're just like me. Yeah, because a guy with a silver spoon in his mouth just like you. Good job, moron. But anywho, um, a big problem is that I have with that is that's not how a billionaire would think. A billionaire would think about the best, most efficient way to get to those things because I've watched billionaires talk about it. They're more about efficiency, money making, and money generating, not taking a vacation because if you actually burn out, that's the perfect way to do it. You'll go the opposite of your job. What they do is that they work extremely hard. They a lot of times if they're building it up, they may only sleep so many time like hours a night. Like there's other things they do. That's why a lot of rich people vacation hard. Just saying. Now, there's also a fact, just like I said, to be kind of even. George W. took more vacations and more time off than both Brock and Mr. 45th. And there seems to be a pattern. But anyway, Dan blocks people on a regular basis, even if they never had any interaction. Um, like me personally, I do like a lot of his writing. And I don't know if I'm blocked. Last time I was on there, I don't think I was blocked. I think I was able to see. But he does state that he will unblock you if you talk to him, apparently. But my issue is, why are you doing it in the first place? Because he's blocking people that are following other people that may have never had an interaction with him. And maybe they just follow this person because they agree with some of the things the person says, but has nothing to do with him. I think block bots are a terrible way of practice because it just shows how much more a-hole-ish a lot of these people are. Because like, I'll just block all of you. Like, okay, well, we are your money, even though you don't think we are. We are. Um, but he does say on a regular basis he does enjoy hurting fans. Right out at the time when I took this, he blocked over 10,000 fans because they were all connected. So he just block botted and shot it out there. Now, the crazy part is that he was writing a comic book about Silver Surfer, and then you see on his things at the time when he was doing it, remember, this is a dream job, he's arguing politics and he's not promoting it. It was weird. Now, Dan called fans in an interview being little pixels on the screen. So he had no problem blocking pixels. And he said his dream book was Silver Surfer, and yet throughout that whole time he was too busy arguing politics. Man, oh man. I think it's ridiculous that if you block bot people because they follow someone, that's crazy because you didn't have an interaction, they may have never done anything to you. And you're like, well, they will. You don't know that. It's just goofy. Now, the thing is that he goes, why. Oh, yeah, because they asked him something about why should you say it's no big deal to block people because they follow someone. Like, they actually, he was asked this. He was just like, they're all pixels. That's when he said the pixels thing. But he brags about blocking people, and you don't know if they support or not, but he doesn't care. And I will say this is my personal opinion. Dan Slott is a good writer, terrible promoter. But his way, he thinks the best way to do this is to dismiss the fans. And this is something he said when people were complaining about the blocking and some of the other stuff. Because for some reason he thought they were coming at him about being an SJW. So he puts, but then... but then was like outside of Peter wearing a t-shirt for one joke. Can someone post any of these political panels that have been in my comics for the last 5 years? Dude, it's not your comic book panels that people are talking about. Like, I think you're talented, but you attack fans on Twitter constantly. So people, when they're complaining to you, they're complaining to you saying that you're doing what the other SJW people are because that's what they do. They attack fans, they do stuff, and then they'll be the first ones, and I've noticed this pattern, they'll be the first ones to jump on like a Comicsgate thing or someone that doesn't agree, and they'll call them all these names, but then they'll be like, well, they're alt-rights, they're this. They're the ones that do the name calling. But as I've kind of sat back and looked, I'm noticing it's the other way around. I've seen them, the SJW people, first call people names, first say things, first say, oh, well, not about white cis males when someone's like, I was just talking about sales. Anyway, on to the next one. Good job, Dan Slott. Kelly Sue DeConnick. Now, this one's interesting. Like I said, I got some notes here. She's like a half for me. I liked her Avengers Assembled book, but I hated her amount take on Captain Marvel. And the current direction of the character, that's how it's been the direct trajectory for years, is because of her. Still will love Captain Marvel's suit. I'm sorry, I think that suit's awesome. Now, she did also write 30 Days a Night with Evan and Stella. I actually thought that was really good. My friend had a lot of the 30 Days a Night, so I got to read it. She did some with Captain America, Secret Rangers, and some other things I liked. I did not like Bitch Planet, but to me, Bitch Planet worked because that was her book. That was for her politics. That was for her stuff to put out there. That's what it was for. So because of that, I'm okay with it, but I didn't like it. Now, just like I said, I got some notes here. I met Matt Fraction years ago, along with a few of my friends. It was at a C2E2 when he was writing Thor and the Fear Itself run with the serpent thing. He was very cool. He was very nice. He was very cordial with us. We saw him multiple times, and every time he always had a warm welcome. He was always gracious. Um, he remembered us. He was also my friend, especially was like talking to him a lot because he's really into Norse mythology. So when I say these things, this is not a reflection on him because Kelly's in the comic is his wife. Um, but now back to her. She also, I've seen from time to time, she gives out very good writing advice as well. I actually look at some of it because, like I said, one day if I start trying to really get back into writing, um, which I'll do a story time about that one day, and why I kind of broke off from it. There's reasons, but yeah, I think her writing stuff actually she does give good advice from time to time. Um, and she does have skills when it comes to writing. Now she said, "If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Problem solved." Now I'm okay with that when it's your book creator owned like Bitch Planet, but not when it's characters with decades of history that get twisted around. I even liked her Captain Marvel at first, and then slowly I was happy with Carol, and she was sinking into the limelight. And then as you start reading the comics, it's all about I hate men, bash the patriarchy. Why? Like why? Um, Now she can write some stuff with it and have sprinkled messages. I've seen her do it, so she can be softer when she needs to be. But she just goes straight for the head, just right off every time. And she keeps bringing things from back in the old days, like there are today. Now these are where I need notes. Like women, POCs, and so many other do it writings. Also, feminism's views and inherent male privilege and toxic masculinity. These are things that she puts in there and she tries to say. But then she goes, so how can you be say big hero helps little guy? Yeah. Uh, Basically, I'm trying to think how I want to put this. Okay, I know I want to say it. Basically, I have it. How can you say the big hero is supposed to help the little guy, but then all they're doing is jumping on the guy from like a weaker position? Kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like it's like I saved you, you stupid, dumb idiot. Da da da. Like it's like, well, why'd you even save me? And when she was in that sci-fi interview, about Captain America, that's not and stuff, and she was talking about how these things are not feminism, whatever. Uh, your set of politics is not the only way to help people. She kept talking about how, and like I said, I got notes to remember. So she kept talking about like how it's feminism's about equality, feminism about this, but yet when she writes her books, that doesn't come out like that. It comes out women strong, man bad more often than not. Um, and between the throwing the politics in there and the way she tells a message and straight up writing yourself into the character. So when you listen to her talking, you start to read it, they kind of correlate, even how some of the words are used, how some of the speech patterns and stuff. Her and many of these other SJW people write themselves into their characters. Instead of making the character who they are, they start making decisions as if it was them, which is ridiculous. The comic you speak on is a form of propaganda, as she puts it. Uh, but you know what? What's happening right now with all this stuff is very radical. And it's like doing one versus the other. Like, for example, they were bringing up a thing like Peter Parker getting bullied is not the same thing as putting the politics of stating that this is a bad, that this is bad, here for this is bad there. So what I mean by that is that Peter getting bullied is not the same thing as saying fight the patriarchy and tear it down and beat up everybody. And honestly, she's taking him becoming a superhero and was trying to twist that around to fit her narrative. But you can honestly take any good deed, twist the belief to what you believe, And that's not always right. So, for example, you could turn around and say, well, Peter Parker was bullied and he turned the other cheek and he ended up saving people, so that's great for Christians and representation of God. Even though the book has nothing to do with it because it's so blanket, right there. And also, too, Stanley and Steve Ditko, because she was trying to say they were feminists. No, they weren't. Um, Stanley's a Democrat and Steve Ditko is a libertarian, and some of his writings did show it. Just to let you know. But she tried to say they were feminists. So with their belief systems, you can't just claim it as your own just because you want to. Now, retroactive look, yeah, basically she retroactively like looked back and said, well, these are how these guys are. Also, they're not here to defend their position. She's making wild claims. Now, as when it comes to punching Nazis, does not make you a social justice warrior. So apparently, she was trying to say Captain America was a social justice warrior. Punching Nazis doesn't do that. Captain America is an American soldier who fought against oppression. Yes, he did. But fighting fascism is not the same as social justice. Social justice and social justice warrior have a definition, or a little different. But Captain America, when you look up those definitions, he is not that. Now, taking an intellectual property that you retroactively change is not a great way to go about it. Still a very talented writer overall. Next, and I'm going to try to blow through this one. You got Tess Fowler, who wrote Rat Queens. I did not like that book. I do have the first one. Got the first volume over there. My D&D buds, they did at first. They were the ones who recommended it to me. They don't even like it now. They thought it got boring and preachy. I didn't know who she was, and I just didn't like it for myself. So you can't say, oh, because you had Tess Fowler. I actually didn't know. I just didn't like the book. Uh, I did read her Charmed because my niece had that. That wasn't bad. Um, I found out she did some heavy metal. Was I read it? It was alright. Nothing big. Let's see. But she did come as Sean Gordon Murphy. Like for example, he says customer first. She brings in race and gender because she goes, "You mean white cis males? How do you get customer first out of white cis males?" And that was one of the things I asked her. The big issue I keep seeing every time there is something or someone that's having a come up, she's coming around and jumping on them, and she did it like several times. Like she jumped on the whole them co-signing the Blake Northcott thing for them. She's a decent artist, but she's not really that good. Uh, it's whatever. But now with Stephanie Cook, who joined her little fight, they don't care about the books. And she's like, I demand Sean to do this. Like, who the hell? Who are you to demand anything from anyone? You're just a writer thing. Demand to freaking swallow your own stupidness. Demand to take a big orange and just smack it in your eyeballs. I demand that from you. Like you're talking about this moral police, and instead you should be worrying about your own books. So Stephanie Cook and Tess Fowler, shut up and do your jobs. Um, like y'all really need to take a chill pill and focus because your stuff's not that great. And I feel like you guys honestly are trying to get people fired. Basically, so you can open the door for yourselves. It's a very cutthroat feeling, and I did, I did think you did a good job on Huck. I'll admit, I'm gonna give you a little props, but yeah, you guys are constantly. I've noticed you're tearing people down, saying, but you're kind of going where you're trying to take out so many of them, so you can be the one. That's not cool. That's not right, and I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I'm going to cut this one off here. I do have one more to go through for a person, and I'm going to lead into the fans. That won't take as long because I don't need to even do as deep of a dive. Sorry, creators, you're a little bit heavier on this one on the scales. So stay tuned. I'll do my last final one for the fans as geeks versus the comic creators. Ooh, hey, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And hit that bell notification so you don't miss a video. You can double click, so it gets the little things around it, But thank you. I thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know these times are harsh and can be very rough, and I appreciate you. So I appreciate it if you like my comments and like what I have to say, and if not, I appreciate to hear the feedback. Thank you once again very much, and stay safe. Geeko Practice is out.